Well, welcome to our Module 5 live session. It's 6:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I realize that people are still coming in, but I want to respect everyone's time, so we will begin as we get started. It looks like Magdalene, you are on. Can you hear me okay? Looks like Monica is on. Hey, Monica, can you hear me okay? Can everybody see the PowerPoint okay? So I cannot hear anybody. Can anybody hear me? So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. As we get started, I wanted to do a quick sound check, and it doesn't sound like everybody could hear me. I don't know if Monica and Magdalene, if you guys are at your computer or not right now. If you are, please just let me know that you could hear me and that you could see the PowerPoint okay. So tonight's agenda will look like this. So we will be covering introductions, checking in, Module 5 journal assignment expectations, important due dates, reflection, and critical thinking from Chapter 8, 6 principles for engaging families in an effective way, and we'll wrap up with question and answer time. Does anyone have any questions? All right, well, moving on. So it's always nice to hear a little hello from everyone present at the live session. As you all know, I am Mike and I live in Colorado. I have my master's degree in early childhood education. One of my favorite movies as a child was Home Alone. I still enjoy watching it to this day. Looking back, it probably wasn't the best movie to watch as a young child, but I found it funny and I still find it hilarious as an adult. Um, so I'd like to hear from y'all. Go ahead and please say who you are, where you live, and your favorite movie as a child and why. So Magdalene, can you hear me okay? I see that you're having some technical difficulties. So it looks like in New York they're having some bad weather over there, which is making some of our students not be able to participate tonight um, fully. So yeah, why don't you try logging back off and logging back in and seeing what happens. Hi, Monica, can you hear me? Okay, perfect. So Monica could hear me. Great. We're waiting for Magdalene to log back in. So, Monica, why don't you? So I was talking about introductions. It's welcome, and it's nice to hear a little hello from everybody at the live session. So as you guys know, that my name is Mike, and I live in Colorado. I have a master's degree, and one of my favorite movies as a child was Home Alone. I still enjoy watching it to this day. Looking back at it, probably wasn't the best movie to watch as a young child, but I found it funny and still find it hilarious as an adult. So I wanted to hear from all of you guys. So go ahead and please say who you are, where you live, and your favorite movie as a child and why. Great. Magdalene, you could hear me now? So Monica said her favorite. So welcome, Monica. You live in Chicago, and her favorite movie as a child and is still Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Welcome, Monica. Why do you like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? It is a classic. Hi, Magdalene. Magdalene is from New York. She is studying early childhood education. Her favorite movie is The Never Ending Story. Why? Because it is a fantasy movie and The Flying Dog. Well, thank you for sharing, Magdalene. And welcome. Looks like it's just Monica and Magdalene tonight. So thank you for sharing. And we're going to continue to move on. So checking in, how is the class going so far? What are your reactions to Module 5? I know Module 5 is the busiest week that you will have in the course. There's a lot of assignments that need to be turned in, which I will share with you a little later on. What went well in this term? What are you looking forward to in your next exploration assignment or exploration class? And do you know what your overall grade is to this point? So Magdalene, that's okay that you won't be able to talk because you're having a bad connection with your phone. That's completely fine. I could share your responses out loud, and I can also type in the chat too as well. So if you just want to write in the chat box, that is perfectly fine. So go ahead and you could share in the chat box. So Magdalene said it's going well for you. Module 5 is challenging, but she thinks she can handle it. Yeah, there's a lot of assignments in Module 5. Making sure that you guys have set some time aside each day to get those assignments completed is a big goal as you guys are nearing the end of the class. Monica said, for me, the class is going well. Nervous to take an online course, but I feel the way everything has been presented, it's going better than expected. Well, that is great news for me to know. I like that you guys, if you guys don't know something, you guys ask the question. I'm pretty prompt at getting back to you right away. And if something's not clear, I try to make sure that if I don't know the answer, I will find it for you. So, just continue to finish strong as we are near the end of the course. Do you guys know your overall grade? Great. Magdalene says she does. Do you, Monica? Perfect. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to move right along. So just wanted to talk a little bit about the journal reflection assignment that will be graded based on the quality of the information you include. This is worth 50% of the assignment grade. So make sure that you guys review your entries from all 4 weeks, revise, do further work, and add additional information necessary. As a reminder, your journal should be one document with each entry starting on a new page. Each entry should include the module it was assigned in and a title. Each of your entries should be a minimum of 1 page, typed, double-spaced, and can be formatted in a bullet list or another creative format. The assignment should include a cover page in APA format. And last but not least, the journal assignment is worth 12% of your overall grade in the course. So make sure you guys really work on that and do a thorough job, just because it's worth a big chunk of your grade. Do you guys have any questions? All right. All right, so it looks like Magdalene doesn't have a question. Do you understand, Monica, the journal assignment expectations? And if you're viewing online, if you don't understand, please just email me, text me, call me, whatever you need to do, and I'll get back to you right away. All right, so some important dates for everyone to know. There's 5 assignments that are due this week. There's your discussion post, your written assignment, your exploration assignment, live session, quiz if you are not online, and the journal assignment. All assignments, aside from the discussion responses, are due Sunday, March 11th by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. A 10% of the assignment grade is deducted for each day that the assignment is late, but late is better than never, so try to get it in right away if you can. Assignments are not accepted more than 7 days late. If you guys have a pressing circumstance or a family issue that's going on, please reach out to me so I could work with you guys instead of informing me the last day of class or the second to last day of class of what's going on. It just gives me a better understanding of what is going on, and so I could work with you. So it looks like the course ends next Saturday, March 17th. Module 6 has only 1 assignment, exploration assignment, which is due Saturday, March 17th by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. No assignments will be accepted after 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturday, March 17th. Does anyone have any questions with that? Pretty self-explanatory, I think. Seeing that nobody has any questions about the due date, I am going to continue on and get into some of the content for this week. So This week you were supposed to come prepared for the live session to discuss question number 3 and number 4 in the live session. Having said that, let's look at number 3, the important qualities needed to be a good collaborator and communicator. So my question is, which one of this is the easiest for you to demonstrate? What are some important qualities needed to be a good communicator and collaborator? I could share a little bit. For me, one of the easiest qualities that I portray is making positive first impressions with parents and children. I'm a fun, silly guy with the children, and I think that's a good way to break the ice because it demonstrates that you enjoy what you do. You enjoy working with the kids. Some of the characteristics of making positive first impressions is having eye contact, smiling, handshake, making sure that your speech is clear, proper titles and names, making efforts to remember names. That could be a little bit tricky when you have, say, 24 or 30 kids in your classroom. But parents do really respect that when you do have that, and you could remember that. Being positive, being pleasant, be aware of appropriate social distance, and try not to prolong conversations is a big one too as well. So, which ones are the easiest for you and which ones are the most difficult for you? And please explain why. So since you guys are on the chat, I will give you some time to type your responses for these questions. So Magdalene replied by saying all of those that I've mentioned, first impressions are the easiest for her as well. One of the difficult things would be talking because she's shy at first. It does take a little bit to build your, maybe it's self-esteem, and making sure that you feel comfortable with the child and the family. I think it's a little bit harder to reach the engage in conversation with adults rather than children at first, but once you have that collaboration, it gets easier. So thank you for sharing, Magdalene. Monica wrote, I think for her it's easier because she sees herself as a team player and she likes working with others, and sometimes she struggles at communication because she doesn't want anyone thinking I'm stepping on anyone's toes with my idea or suggestions. And that's a great one too, Monica. I think that having those clear expectations of saying that I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes and giving them, knowing that you're trying to help as a team player helps that communication process. Some people, I know some of my teachers are a little bit abrupt and they don't think before they talk, which can cause some strife. Does anybody have anything else to share with those questions? Yes, Magdalene, leaving a good impression is also good. People tend to see and remember you if you have a good first impression in work and even in interviews. It's kind of a life skill. Anyone have anything else to add about those questions? All right, if nobody has any other comments to add, I'm going to continue on um, with uh, question number 4 regarding Joseph or Kristen's story. Um, First of all, Magdalene and Monica, did you guys get a chance to read um, each field study? Great, Magdalene, you said that you did. Um, so, having the knowledge and being prepared, I like that you're prepared um, to share. Oh, and Monica did too. So, with having the knowledge and reading the field study, what could of the teachers or administrator have done to make either experience more positive? Um, you could share from either Joseph's story or Kristen's story. It doesn't matter. So, and for the people that are viewing online, it's in your field notes in chapter 8, 8.1. One is being a teen mother and single, and the other one is why parents don't come, about a Native American who attended elementary school in the 70s. Magdalene said, with Joseph's story, I think the director um, should have had a better approach towards their culture and children. Uh, do you think that because the culture was a lot different back in the 70s, do you think they had the resources or the knowledge back then with special education? So Magdalene said that she doesn't think that they had the knowledge. I don't think they had the knowledge, and I think, back in the 70s, it was culture. I really think that, having parent-teacher conferences and having these extracurricular activities and inviting parents to volunteer, sometimes parents do get they kind of shy away from those things because of those bad experiences that they had when they were growing up, like Joseph did. So, what could we do as teachers to make it a more inclusive environment for our children that we have right now, so they don't have these negative feelings about school and in our classrooms. So Magdalene, can you elaborate a little bit on that? Why do you think that they were not prepared? Yes, I agree. I think that is a big important thing that teachers and caregivers should learn as much as possible about their culture and the family before children start school. Then the bias kind of goes away once you have that information and you understand where the child is coming from, and their family culture and dynamic. Monica, do you have anything to share? Yes, I agree, Magdalene. The reason why they weren't prepared is because they did not involve in their family culture, and I think that has been a big shift from even from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s to now. It's kind of a big shift of teachers learning more and more about culture and how to include it. So Monica shared that she thinks that places should also be prepared because cultures has a lot to do with the children's upbringing. I completely agree. And Magdalene also added, and this is because it impacted them, and that's why they feel that way. When she was young, she had a bad experience, and it had impacted her whole life. I'm sorry to hear that, uh, Magdalene, but I understand that even with my parents and my parents' generation, and my grandparents' generation, it was completely different. Um, and it was really, I wouldn't say structured, but it was different. It was definitely different. Monica said I had out a questionnaire to my parents about home life, so I have a better understanding of their child. That is a great way to communicate to your families about what their home life is and to have a better understanding of um, the children that you guys take care of and serve. Yes, teachers back in the day, Magdalene, were really different. Basically, what teachers did back in the day would not happen today. They wouldn't be teachers. um, so yeah, a lot of abuse went on in schools back in the day, um, and I think that's children, especially children, they remember um, the things that are bad usually that happened to them, because that's the stuff that they don't forget. Um, when just like humans, when something like adults, when people have um, say a tragedy or a death or something that goes on in their life, that's something that they never forget. It's kind of similar to when you are a child. Wow, Magdalene said she used to get smacked on the hand with a ruler just for answering the wrong question, and that was just a small detail. Yeah, I get it. Um, yes, we those bad experiences are hard to overcome, but it makes you stronger as a person. You know, I remember my uncle. He had a big afro, and he used to tell me that um, he was he got some answer wrong or did something to some kid, and the teacher actually gave him a haircut and shaved his hair off. So yeah, teachers used to do some different things that um are a little bit well, very frowned upon today. Um so yeah, it's interesting. So do you guys have anything else to add or share with with this? Excuse my dog in the background. Sorry guys. All right. Well, I'm going to move on to our next question of our next slide. Um, so the six principal lectures or supplement readings videos. So in the NACE's Principles of Effective Practice Family Engagement outlines the six principles for engaging families in an effective way. Uh, the six principles are as follows. So you have principle one, programs invite families in the decision making and goal setting for their child. So basically, that's like programs inviting families to actively take part in making decisions concerning their children's education. Um, so teachers and families jointly set goals for children's education and learning both at home and at school. In the Head Start realm, we have home visits that we do that are required. I know a lot of early childhood programs have parent-teacher conferences. Um, so it's just setting up and sharing parent and teacher goals of just collaborating what they want for their children. Um, that's what the very first principle is about. The second principle, teachers and programs engage in families in two-way communication. This is strategies that allow for both schools and family-initiated communication that is timely and continuous. Conversations focus on a child's education experience as well as the larger program. Communication takes multiple forms and reflects each family's language preference. And we'll be talking a little bit later about that principle tonight. So Magdalene said that that's the first time she's heard about a home visit, and she thinks that's good, but she thinks that the parents in New York, um, she doesn't know if they would allow that or not. And I completely agree, because there's just, I'm sure it's a different culture out there. Looks like Anita joined. Good evening, Anita. So the third principle that I want to talk about is uh, programs, programs and teachers engage families in ways that are truly reciprocal. So programs and families benefit from shared resources and information. Programs invite families to share their unique knowledge and skills and encourage active participation in life of the school. So teachers seek information about children's lives, families, communities, and they integrate this information into their curriculum and their teaching practices. So this would include like volunteering in the classroom or bringing in different cultural activities, different food, etc. So that would be a little bit what Principle 3 talks about. Principle 4, programs provide learning activities for the home and the community. Programs use learning activities at home and in the community to enhance the child's early learning and encourage and support families' efforts to create a learning environment beyond the program. So this includes parent-child projects, literacy reading, matching games that you could send home for the parent to do with the child, and some other stuff like that. So that's what number 4 kind of entails. Number 5 entails programs invite families to participate in program level decisions and wider advocacy efforts. Programs invite families to actively participate in making those decisions about the programs itself. So programs also invite families to advocate for the early childhood education in a wider community. So it's programs giving resources about committees that parents could join and sit in on to have a voice for their child's education. For example, in our Head Start program, we have the Policy Council. So that is a governing board of parents that are in the program that sit on a board and make decisions. It's kind of similar to the parent-teacher organization that is commonly used in public schools. That's a little bit about Principle 5. And then the last principle, Principle 6, talks about programs institutionalize family engagement policies and practices to ensure that the teachers, administrators, and other staff receive the supports they need to fully engage families. Training and resources to give families to better their children's education and sometimes their own education and the life challenges that come along with it. So offering suggestions that can help achieve child's goals from kind of like principle number 1, so they kind of go hand in hand. You know, so having said all these 6 principles and just thinking about them, what principle stood out to you and why? I could tell you for me, principle number 2, when I was a preschool teacher, the two-way communication took place right from the beginning. I worked with parents to learn about the child before they began in the class. Kind of like what Monica said. She talked a little bit about how they used to do like surveys to get to know the child a little bit better before they come on in into the program. So with that being said, times have changed. There are a lot of new ways to communicate with families. I did the traditional stuff when I was a teacher. I sent home weekly print newsletters, made phone calls, set up conferences, also had parent night picnics, open houses, and daily volunteering opportunities. Now with the prevalence of social media, there are various new ways to communicate with families that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you guys are very familiar with Pinterest, Twitter, and just having a normal classroom website. Just going to talk a little bit about that, and then you could share what principles stood out to you and why. So I just want to talk a little bit about Pinterest. So if you don't know, Pinterest boards are an easy way for teachers to share information and ideas. I personally have never used them when I was a teacher, but these ideas can help the families stay informed and find new creative ways to help their children at home. Teachers can make a board that has current research on different educational topics or issues, or create one that includes subject-specific activities for children to do at home. So one of my favorite board that I saw is about recipes that you could give to a child and their mom or dad, and so they could do that at home. Each board gives families the opportunity to take the concepts you're teaching at school and engage it with their home life. If a family has a Pinterest account or a Pinterest smartphone app, which are both free, they can see your pins and will therefore know there is something they can be working on at home. So that is just something that you could keep in mind, that you could collaborate that way for social media using Pinterest. So it's good ways for teachers to get ideas, but it's also good ways for teachers to share their ideas with their families. So the next thing I was going to talk about is Twitter. I am not very familiar with Twitter at all. Apparently a lot of people use it. But Twitter accounts allow teachers to follow other educational professionals and organizations that tweet about education-related topics, activities, articles, and ideas. When a family has a Twitter account, they are able to follow the teacher, see these different ideas and topics, and read important issues to relate to their children about their education. The teacher's educational professional Twitter account must be kept separate from a personal Twitter account. When I coached last year high school baseball for Mountain Range High School in Westminster, Colorado, and our head coach, that's the way he used collaborating with parents for schedules and when games are and just different things that were going on through a Twitter account. So I didn't use it. I just know that that's what the school used, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, that's another form of social media that you can use. And then last is just like the classroom website. You guys could make a classroom, anybody could make a classroom website, and your website can be built to include anything that you want it to. Some important teachers can include on their websites maybe the daily schedule, weekly or monthly calendars, snack calendar, classroom rules, dress code information, things you're working on at school, engaging activities to try at home, pictures of students with the permission of your school and the families, of course, and anything else you feel that is important. Classroom website can be include a blog on which you can post a newsletter or write about ideas, articles, or topics you want to share. So basically, um, social media is pretty much here to stay. Um, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. There are people that don't have iPhones or computers, such as grandparents. Um, my 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 grandma doesn't have a cell phone and or would not know how to work one. So um, but then you could do the sending notes home and making phone calls and um, having a letter or meet to face with family members whenever possible. Research shows that this is the best way to build relationships with families. So when you do those things and it's done well, social media communication should overlap with traditional communication and ultimately relay the same information. Um, so that is a little bit about social media. I see that I have a lot of people engaging in the chat, so I want to go back up to, so it looks like you guys use Pinterest quite a lot. It looks like all of you guys do who is online right now. Monica, Anita, and Magdalene, you guys use Pinterest. Magdalene says the reason why I like principle number 4, because she likes principle number 4, is some parents think that all teaching should be done by the teacher. That's why we get paid for it. But I think involving the parents in activities that they can do with their child at night can also give the family more quality time. I see myself creating a Pinterest board since I'm more familiar with it. Not my grandpa. He's 82 and he is brags about having an iPhone 6. My grandma's gonna turn 98 and she doesn't have a cell phone. But yeah, that's funny. So it looks like you guys already do some of these things. Having a Pinterest boards. So thanks for sharing, Magdalene, Anita, and Monica. Is there anything that you guys use to collaborate with your families? So Anita said she would use a group chat app so she could send out reminders and the parents can reach out to her with questions. So that's good. She uses Remind app. Thank you for sharing, Anita. Is there anything else you use? I have never actually done the social media thing because I work for a county. Kind of hard to do that because there's so many layers that you have to go through in order to get approval to do something like that. Monica says she uses email. She also wants to look into the app as well. Well, thanks, Anita, for showing the Remind app. Hopefully that you guys could use some of these social media um, social media sites to engage in further collaboration with your families going forward. Is there any other principle that stood out to you guys? I think all the principles are very important, but working directly with children, that communication is a big is a big key in order to have successful, positive learning environments in the classroom for all children. So if nobody has any questions, or any more comments to add, my next question to you is, do you have any questions for me? Well, seeing and hearing that nobody has any questions, I just want to say thank you all for a great term, and I wish you guys the best of luck in your future learning endeavors. Um, so this is the last live session. Everybody will get credit for participating in this live session, and I just want to say thank you. And oh yeah, another thing I would like to say too, guys, is if you haven't taken a survey, please take the survey, just so I know what went well in this class, what things that could improve upon, and such things. Um, Magdalene asked, am I going to be teaching another class? I do teach another class. I teach EEC 1961. That is a planning class. I will be teaching that not the next term coming up, but the term after. The survey link, Anita, should be in the bottom right of the home page. If you don't see it, it might not be completely up yet, but it will be up very shortly. I actually have no control over that. It is the people who do the website that actually puts it on in the college. Is there any other questions? Thank you, thank you, ladies. You guys been great as well. I really enjoyed you guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I will try to provide you the information in a timely manner. Thank you, ladies. Good night.